She stood in the kitchen, bathed in the soft slant of morning sunlight filtering through the blinds, the shadows painting her face like prison bars. She didn't flinch when she spoke. "If that's a problem for you," she said flatly, "then I'll just sleep with your friends. Leave if you want. They'd be thrilled to replace you." She laughed, as if it were some harmless joke, like she hadn't just twisted a knife into my chest. I didn't yell. I didn't break anything. I didn't even ask who she meant. I simply nodded, calm, quiet. "All right," I said, and then added, nearly under my breath, "The daughter made her laugh harder." She assumed it was a bluff. She always thought I was too soft to hit back. That assumption was her fatal error. We'd been together for 10 years, high school sweethearts. The cliché couple everyone expected to grow old side by side. Same group of friends, inside jokes, shared dreams. But at some point, she began rewriting the rules. It started small. Flirty messages she passed off as harmless memes. Nights out she labeled as girls' nights. Then her tone changed, less affection, more disdain. One night, drunk and careless, she forgot to silence her phone. A message preview popped up. The name? My best friend, Alex. I dug to the thread, unraveling it like a snagged thread on a sweater. It didn't take long to fall apart completely. Alex, then Jared, then Malik, names I'd known since childhood, faces from our wedding photos. She wasn't just cheating. She was working her way through my closest friends like it was a challenge, checking off names like trophies on a shelf. This wasn't just betrayal. It was strategic humiliation. She wasn't just unfaithful. She was cruel. When she said they'd gladly replace me, she wasn't bluffing. She knew they would. Some already had. But what she didn't know was what I'd been preparing. I never confronted her. Instead, I got organized. I pulled back emotionally, wore a mask of defeat. Let her think she'd shattered me. That was my opening move, using her pride against her. I installed keyloggers, set up hidden audio devices, broke into cloud backups. I collected everything, photos, videos, texts, audio recordings. Proof so undeniable no excuse could erase it. At the same time, I moved to the second phase. See, I wasn't just some average husband. I worked in pharmaceutical research. I had access to highly controlled compounds, legal, difficult to trace, and invisible unless you knew exactly what to test for. Over the next 3 months, I hosted casual hangouts, barbecues, card nights, drinks on the porch. I was warm, welcoming, the same friendly guy they always knew. They never questioned what I served. They ate, they drank, they laughed. The compound worked slowly. Non-lethal, but frightening. It caused erratic convulsions, blurred vision, racing heartbeats. Symptoms loud enough to terrify, but not kill. The kind of illness that screamed for attention and investigation. And then came phase 3. I sent an anonymous tip to the hospital staff, told them to test for a very specific synthetic compound, one used only in classified biotech research, not something a typical physician would ever think to screen for. When the results came back, they all matched. Same agent, same reaction, same dosage. They lay there in identical hospital beds, connected to monitors, staring at each other in stunned silence. Then the toxicology reports were brought in. That's when the panic hit. One of them burst into tears. Listed next to the compound, my name, as the patent holder. That afternoon, I walked in, calm, serene. Alex tried to sit up. Jared froze. Malik couldn't meet my gaze. "You really should watch what you consume when you're sleeping with another man's wife," I said. They tried to speak. Apologies, explanations, desperate attempts to salvage something. But I wasn't there for that. I opened the folder I brought. Inside was every text, every photo, every video. Proof of every intimate moment they had shared with her. I placed it on the table. "Keep it," I said. "You'll need it when your wives start asking questions." Then I walked out. I left her for last. She was in the kitchen when I got home, stirring soup like any other day, as though none of it had happened. She turned and gave me that sugary smile. "Did you go check on your friends?" "Yeah," I replied. "They're stable. Should be back home in a few weeks, scared out of their minds." The smile faded. She could hear something in my tone, something sharp. She opened her mouth to speak, but I cut her off. Oh, and I filed for divorce yesterday. Infidelity, with full documentation. She scoffed. That won't hold up. You can't prove. I slid a flash drive across the counter. I can, and I did. Everything is backed up in 5 locations. Encrypted, dated. The lawyers have it. The judge will too. She stared at it, then at me. Her voice dropped to a whisper. What did you do to them? I leaned in slightly, voice low and even. I gave them a glimpse of decay. Not enough to end them, just enough they'll never forget. She stepped back, shaken. And one more thing, I said, turning toward the door. Claire, your daughter, left this morning. Said she didn't want to grow up to be like you. That's when the mask cracked. Her hands trembled. Her eyes went wide. I didn't tell her anything, I added. She figured it out on her own. Funny thing about revenge, it doesn't always need to be dramatic. Sometimes all it takes is a quiet goodbye, a whispered truth, and a daughter who chooses better. I don't regret what I did. They played with venom. I just made sure they tasted it.